Radical Feminism 101, Simplified, by Valkyrie. I simplified this from radicalhelparchives.wordpress.com. Below are the themes that sum up men's oppression of women and how men create and maintain power over us. Femicide. Patriarchy is the system that benefits men and oppresses women. It includes law, medicine, and religion, which give men power at women's expense. Under patriarchy, which is worldwide, many men torture, murder, and rape women, but it's not seen as genocide like racism is. We admit that many whites target blacks for being black, but not that many men target women for being women. The misogyny, the woman-hating behind the witch burnings still exists worldwide, but its link to crimes against women today is ignored. Why? Because femicide supports male power. Men as a group are destroying women. Some countries have fewer women because baby girls are killed, so men get more resources, power, and control over women through forced labor, rape, and mandatory PIV, which is penis and vagina sex, which can cause pregnancy, pain, disease, and emotional dependence upon men. Cultural images of strong women hide the fact that women, like powerful witches, were really powerless victims of murder, torture, and rape. Patriarchy's gynecology and psychiatry cut, sedate, pathologize, medicate, and torture creative or freedom-loving women. Images of scary witches and bitches hide the fact that women are the victims. Fetishize female vulnerability. Patriarchy makes women economically, sexually, and physically vulnerable to men by brainwashing, exploiting our impregnability, and discrimination. This weakness is portrayed as sexy. Sexy to whom? Male-invented women's fashion is restrictive and painful. We can't run from rapists, and dresses expose us. Men mutilate our feet historically because healthy feet mean freedom. The risk women are put in turns many men on. This is why feminine clothing is pushed. Why? Because female vulnerability supports male power. If men didn't weaken women, there would be no prostitution, no porn, etc. Men have more power and goods because women are expected to do unpaid housework and waste money on the pill, makeup, and other fuckability mandates, which are things women must do to be desirable to men. Women also have to give PIV, penis and vagina sex, in order to survive, because we aren't paid enough to live alone. Handmaidens of the patriarchy. Patriarchy makes us fight over men and gets other women to be fuckable and support male points of view. Enforced heterosexuality keeps us from marrying other women. Making us enforce male rules makes us look guilty and turns us against women, not men. Why? Because handmaidens support male power. By getting us to do their dirty work, patriarchy invades our minds so we can't escape and hides the fact that men have the power, not women. Harm reduction and refusal to name the agent. We are expected to erase male damage from our minds. The context that birth control, abortion, having to carry mace, and staying home at night are in is ignored. Without male attacks, we wouldn't need these safety strategies. Mere damage control in a world that says that men preying on women is inevitable. Why? Because harm reduction and refusal to name the agent supports male power. To increase their power, men hurt women and children with war, poverty, and sex. Not naming men as the agent benefits men. Harm is then seen as causeless bad luck that women should just get used to. We spend time and energy on survival and have none left to fight the patriarchy or analyze its creations, like gynecology, enforced heterosexuality, porn, and marriage. The joke's on women. Our experience, point of view, and conditions we suffer are comedy in male-created sitcoms. The bumbling idiot husband joke is actually against us. In real life, we often have to accept them as the only option. Men scaring women is also a trend in advertising. Women's fear is then made funny. Why? Because the joke's on women supports male power. TV men who are lazy or bad in bed get women they don't deserve. This comedy normalizes PIV sex, which can cause pain or dangerous pregnancy, and men leeching off of our lives and work. is also normalized. It's perversely funny to male viewers who think that any man should be able to get a woman, and male selfishness seems harmless when the studio audience laughs at female characters' angry response. Male bonding over misogyny. Many men bond over woman-hating behavior like harassment, groping, shared prostitutes and strippers, gang rape, and the murder of women. Why? Because men bonding over misogyny supports male power. Men teach each other misogyny and celebrate their power through male bonding. For example, companies having meetings at strip clubs. It creates a group identity where they remind each other that they're not weak sex slaves, rape objects, and pregnant house servants. Women are. Male entitlement. Patriarchy gives men more work success and physical safety. Even male losers are entitled to these privileges, like leeching emotionally and materially off women, being inconsiderate to others for fun, and PIV sex, no matter how much it hurts their wives or girlfriends. Why? Because male entitlement supports male power. If a man is denied what women are denied 24/7, it's a horrid injustice. Black and working class movements want white men's rights to oppress others and to get sexual access to women. Many men are overconfident and expect unearned praise, so this trait is seen as good in men. However incompetent they are, they get hired more because they're confident. Male entitlement means patriarchy won't punish men for demanding sex or labor from women. Mansplaining and calling women's perspective wrong. Mansplaining means explaining things in a way that benefits men, like trying to disprove women's opinions on porn or PIV. Doctors mansplain by diagnosing women who dislike PIV, though our dislike of it is very reasonable. Many things men like hurt us, so men call our opinions wrong, although opinions aren't right or wrong, and ours come from centuries of experience. Why? Because mansplaining supports male power. It forces men's point of view on us, turning us away from our own point of view and from discovery of our oppression and how to fight it. It puts women who are adopting a female point of view back on track to giving men what they want. Necrophilia. Boys and men are obsessed with death in our culture. Mary Daly called this necrophilia. It includes sex with corpses, but also focus on guns, murder, war, torture, neglect, abuse, rape, forced pregnancy, emotional pain, and vampirizing off women who nurture life because we have to or face punishment if we don't. Which is ironic because men work so hard to undermine our nurturing. Why? Because necrophilia supports male power. Many men torture and kill animals, females, children, and each other. We must clean up, and we have no energy left with which to build a women's culture. Men do this on purpose. Unusual, slightly nurturing men get huge praise, but if we can't do high-level caretaking perfectly, we're shunned, though men's necrophilia forces us into this caretaking in the first place. Normalizing abuse and neglect. Abuse and neglect is made normal by the idiot husband theme. Marriage, based on PIV sex and our economic dependence upon men, replaces female relationships. Men don't care for their own children, pets, or even house plants, and they often admit faking idiocy to get wives to do it. Men's dangerous stunts hurt themselves and others, and women must clean up. This is considered comedy. Why? Because normalizing abuse and neglect supports male power. It makes us accept male selfishness, and to think we love too much, not that men love too little. And it makes us put up with men rather than consider being spinsters or lesbians. Bad men are seen as isolated cases of bad luck, rather than a pattern caused by a culture that benefits men. Normalize porn and prostitution. Pole dancing and anal sex are now common. Porn is invading regular culture, and it gets more violent and woman-hating as time goes on. Pornstitution is even sold to kids, like at baby beauty pageants. Why? Because normalizing porn and prostitution supports male power. It centers sex on the penis, ignores women's pleasure, and causes pain or pregnancy. Normalizing pornstitution or prostitution, which which most women are forced into by kidnapping or poverty, normalizes male sexual power over us. If we don't succeed in life, which includes pleasing men anyways, we're forced to whore ourselves out. Prostitutes make men rich, but prostitutes' earning potential decreases the more they work, so it's more like exploitation rather than a real job. Normalizing prostitution makes us look through men's eyes and never our own. If we did, we'd see fear, disease, violence, rape, kidnapping, poverty, addiction, unwanted pregnancy, and murder. Unlike many men, we don't find this sexy, but our negative views aren't counted, however common or reasonable they are. Victims and abusers are both made invisible. PIV-centered sexuality. PIV, penis and vagina sex with the goal of male orgasm, is the bedrock of heterosexuality, despite women for centuries saying that we don't prefer it, except for pregnancy, which is, by the way, a female-specific consequence. Normalizing PIV includes hiding its dangers. Why? Because PIV and PIV-centric sexuality supports male power. PIV's dangers, like disease, unwanted pregnancy, and trauma bonding, are worldwide and often backed by woman hatred. Some women enjoy PIV, but even they waste energy dealing with consequences, so public space and resources remain open to men, who are not encumbered by these things. In patriarchy, pregnancy can be dangerous. 500,000 women a year die. Some get disease or fistulas, causing leakage, so their loving husbands and families ostracize them. Poor women must raise children. Every bit of this shit is directly caused by PIV, consensual or not. Almost all rape is PIV, so normalizing PIV normalizes rape. We're supposed to accept that penises belong in vaginas no matter the context, with consequences made to look positive. Women needing PIV for pleasure is a fantasy, even in countries that have the pill and abortion, which are also unsafe anyways. Equating PIV with sex or fun tricks women into ignoring the dangers and into benefiting men in and out of the bedroom. Because PIV has affected women and our place in society in all times and places, PIV sex may be the foundation of patriarchy itself. No wonder men are so crazy about it. Though men try to hide it, PIV is political. Patriarchy's big three, religion, medicine, and law, all clamp down on our bodies and lives the moment we conceive. Feminists who have spoken for decades about the link between PIV and state control of women are mocked or silenced, and since this link was made on purpose, men definitely won't discuss or fix it. They like the way things are. Here are 6 tactics that promote PIV, hide PIV's political nature, erase the dangers to women from PIV, and lead us into an unescapable meat grinder where we're literally sleeping with the enemy, suffering harm only women can suffer and that only men can cause. Tactic 1. The goal is to land a man, aka mandatory heterosexuality. With landing a man, the end game is a straight relationship where PIV is required for it to continue. It's literally the normalization of PIV, PIV's dangers, and female submission. Landing a man is not success, but doom. Female relations are replaced with husband-pleasing, PIV, and pregnancy and disease scares. Included are femininity, unattainable and unavailable men, wasting energy trying to change men, serial dating, the bumbling idiot husband, fuckability mandates like clothing and makeup, competing for male attention, and marriage and pregnancy preparations. Tactic number 2, normalizing exaggerated or simulated female sexual pleasure. This equates female pleasure with PIV and hides the dangers. If real-life women see fake orgasms on TV but dislike PIV in real life, they feel faulty, even though billions of women for thousands of years have disliked this act. Included are movies, TV, porn, faking it, sex positions designed to make women enjoy PIV, pathologizing our inadequate response to it, mansplaining, people saying that bad or boring PIV is unusual or a fluke, claims of painful sex bringing correspondingly higher female pleasure in non-sexual contexts such as Dove chocolate commercials, and female sexual aggression. Tactic number 3, normalizing reproductive stress and pain. PIV as recreational, stress-free sex would never survive a cost-benefit analysis outside of patriarchy. Reproductive dangers prove that harmless, stress-free PIV is just a fantasy men sold us, so we're expected to ignore these dangers. It also spreads the myth that men dislike causing accidental pregnancies. In real life, most men celebrate or don't even care. The effect is the same on us. We ignore PIV's consequences or see them as positive. Included are talks about sex, the pill, pregnancy problems, vaginal and urinary infections, diseases, abortions, unknown fathers, too many kids, painful sterilization or birth control, and keeping fertility secrets so as not to worry him. Tactic number 4, pathologizing menstruation. This normalizes PIV sex by making non-pregnant women who have periods abnormal or evil, so pregnancy, unwanted or not, looks positive in comparison and implies that the only cure for periods is PIV. Despite prejudices against pregnant women and male control over the birth culture, it's considered our purpose in life to bear children. No one says some of us aren't meant for it. Instead, non-pregnant women, especially with periods, are horrifying, angry monsters. 5, pathologizing older women and menopause and fetishizing female youth. Like with periods, villainizing old age makes only fertile women look normal. It implies that pregnancy or birth control are our destiny, to get us used to the consequences of PIV and to hide the fact that they wouldn't be there without a PIV-centered society. Aging symptoms are exaggerated, and Viagra commercials show grannies having PIV despite the potential for severe vaginal damage, which is medically treated as if something's wrong with the women, not with PIV. Old women are villainized because they know about the danger, or at least the banality, of having sex with men. Included are the evil mother-in-law theme, beauty rituals and surgery, reminiscing about youth, and old witch villains in stories. 6, rape and rape culture. Rape normalizes PIV in all contexts, since most rape is PIV. If rape is normalized, so is consensual PIV. If rape is criticized, PIV is harmless in comparison. PIV refers to any instance of penises and vaginas. Non-PIV rapes are modeled on PIV ones, for example, using bodily holes, using objects, and the man ejaculating. Rape and PIV are almost identical, since normal sex is often coerced by individual men or society's expectations. Both are political and specifically harm women via pregnancy, pain, and trauma bonding. Included are alcohol or drugs which remove consent, or alcohol and drug culture, violence and women having to cleverly avoid violence, restrictive female clothing, psychiatry and gynecology, prostitution and porn, men feeling entitled to PIV, lying and womanizing, rape apologism, accusing women of crying rape, kidnapping, pickup artistry and seduction, and underage sexuality. Back to article. Pornify girl children and infantilize adult women. Old women are wise and can refuse consent, so little girls are sexualized and adult women are dressed as little girls to appeal to men. Why? Because pornifying girl children and infantilizing adult women and raping very young girls supports male power. Raping girls makes them accept painful penis-centered sex in all circumstances before they discover what they prefer. They grow into promiscuous women, caught in prostitution or pornography, and they think that painful, forced sex is the only type of sex there is. Men practice abusive sex on them and on other women who are forced into it by poverty. Primacy of the nuclear family. The nuclear family is privileged above all the others. Marriage and children labeled as success for women, even though many women aren't satisfied in this arrangement. Why? Because the primacy of the nuclear family supports male power. It isolates us from women and gives us unpaid labor and husband-pleasing as a replacement. The porny, abusive sex that many men like is painful, and the home is where most rapes and abuses occur. We give out PIV to avoid homelessness. This coercion is also rape. Women do thousands of hours of unpaid work but become more and more dependent and poor the more we work. Men couldn't succeed in or outside the home without this free labor from women. Women even help men with their real jobs too, and are often uncredited and unpaid. Reversal. The dictatorship in George Orwell's 1984 said, "Freedom is slavery, war is peace, and ignorance is strength." Men in patriarchy use similar reversals against women. Why? Because reversals support male power. Men say things like, "Sex decreases stress," and "women are sluts." Sex increases stress for women, and men are the slutty ones. Reversals make us ignore who is benefiting and who is suffering. Another reversal is when the state singles out prostitutes for disease control, but not the buyers, though the men, especially if they've slept with other men, are more likely to infect prostitutes than the other way around. Support for patriarchal institutions, medicine, religion, and law. The police, military, state, law, technology, education, and finance are almost completely in male hands. Some men are oppressed, but all have power over women. Non-patriarchies are portrayed as alien or fictitious, like in sci-fi or fantasy novels. Why? Because supporting patriarchal institutions supports male power. The institutions overlap and support each other. Medicine, religion, and law all have special controls that attach to women and only women the moment we are impregnated. PIV, sex, is nearly mandatory, so men can easily control us by simply knocking us up. Woman as useful object. Women are treated like objects to better men's lives. A woman who doesn't do PIV, clean, or make babies is discarded, even if she loved and cared for her husband. A broken woman who doesn't like sex or emotional abuse is fixed by a gyno or psychiatrist. Why? Because woman as useful object supports male power. Women do unpaid sex, house, and reproductive work, and also prostitution and pornography if not married. This labor allows men to work outside the home and makes us more dependent upon them. We have no energy left for ourselves or for our children, yet we are considered insane if we break down. Since housewives and prostitutes' earning potential decreases over time, this proves it's not a job and that it's actually exploitation. Slavery.